One of the most important components of any game is its aesthetics and themes. Their visual representation can be one of the most immediate indicators of the title's atmosphere, mood, pacing, intensity, and sometimes even the gameplay itself. Dark and sinister looking entries tend to be a sign of horror or horror-themed elements. Highly saturated colors lean towards younger audiences. Monotone, desolated landscapes are usually associated to post-apocalyptic narratives, and the list goes on. In promotional material, the way the game looks and sounds serve to set a certain level of expectations in order to entice players that are looking for a specific experience and deter those who aren't. Aesthetics in video games, despite having methodology attached to it, it is still a very nuanced topic due to its subjective nature. No matter how objectively good a song, a model, or animation is, their true quality is still subjected to each person's individual taste. There will be always people that like it or dislike it regardless of how good the asset is, even if it fits perfectly the game in question. However, that doesn't take the fact that there are unquestionably bad designs or design decisions to speak of. Path of Titans is one of those previously mentioned complicated examples. First things first, the game looks great. It may not possess the high graphical fidelity the Isle has, but it absolutely surpasses the threshold of good enough. In fact, their work with lighting and environmental special effects like rain, fog, and hues the different biomes have really enhances Path from a visual standpoint. What makes POT a convoluted discussion is not really the way it looks, but rather the way it portrays itself. Let me explain. If we analyze how both Alderon showcases Path and how the game is actually played, we can see a difference that it may not be very visually noticeable at first, but in actuality it is quite impactful. So, what is that deviation exactly? By observing most trailers released for the past 2 years, we can see that most shots invoke a very specific feeling. They are not presented as pure gameplay despite being in-engine. The players behave in a deliberate manner. The mechanics are displayed in a more flavorful form. The devs could very easily put raw footage, highlight the new content with text or voiceover, but no, they didn't do that. They put the extra work on acting scenes, add elaborate angles, and even structure the trailers in a story-driven fashion like the Albertas having their offspring killed, getting revenge, going out of control, and then coming to their senses by seeing someone else's baby. There was no need to do any of this, but they did, and this was done with a purpose in mind, and that purpose was immersion. The trailers were created to let players immerse themselves into the world of Path, to show that the game lets us create our own stories, live alive as a pure story creature, and let our sense of disbelief flow during gameplay. That was their intention behind the trailer cinematography. But in Path's case, there is a rather rare problem with that. You see, their intentions are great, don't get me wrong. I truly appreciate the effort they put into their marketing, and it does pay off. It looks fantastic, it hypes people up, and showcases how everyone wants to see the game. Except this one, that wasn't very good. But here's the issue with that. Both the game itself and its advertisement need to be consistent. There has to be a level of cohesion between them, otherwise the latter will set the wrong expectations to players, and POT suffers from that. The trailers show an immersive role that players can live on, so we, the consumers, especially the ones that didn't follow the initial years of development, expect a game that delivers an immersive experience, with mechanics and features that promote and complement said experience. But once you actually play it, that's not what we get. If anything, it is quite the opposite. The game promotes and is even designed around full mix packing with a group slot system. The UI is very reminiscent of a traditional MMO rather than a survival game. There's instanced player housing, a very immersion-breaking quest system, the dinosaurs themselves are mechanically arcadey with classes like tanks, healers, damage dealers. The way the game is presented and the way it actually functions is surprisingly distinct if we think about it. And yes, I am aware that Path is supposed to be an MMO or at least have MMO elements. I believe we all know that. And keep in mind, none of these points I just stated are inherently flawed. A dinosaur MMO is not a bad idea, and the game as it is right now is not bad either. The problem is that there are two distinct visions present in the game. The immersive/realistic side with mostly accurate dinosaur models, realistic biomes and immersion-inducing marketing, and the arcade gameplay side with MMO-related features and design philosophy. Both are well done, both work perfectly fine on their own, but together they create a confusing perspective of what the game is supposed to be and set the wrong expectations to newcomers. Obviously, this is not that big of a deal, it's just a small criticism, but I believe the game would be better off if Alderon picked one of those two. Having this thematic mixture doesn't complement both parts, it only takes away the potential each one has. Personally, I would pick immersion because that's what I enjoy out of these games the most, but for Path, I think it would be more beneficial to go 100% with an MMO route. The game already has a bunch of systems that follow that mindset, so from a business standpoint, it would make no sense changing all of that to go more towards realism. But who knows? Perhaps they can find a good way to make both visions more compatible. They are reworking the quest system after all. Plus, with the AI dinosaurs coming up, there is a chance that will be enough to mitigate the problem enough. Small, but a chance nonetheless. I'm optimistic. But what do you guys think? Does this problem bother you? Let me know in the comments below. A huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel and the content I create. If you wanna join the ranks, you can do so for only $1 a month. The link will be in the description. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions down below, join our Discord server, engage with the community, and I hope to see you all next time.